Welcome to the Kryptonaut Podcast. I am Mark Storrs, and with me as always is...
Crass.
And...
Rob Morphy.
Thank y'all so very much for joining us. Hope everyone out there is doing well in these weird times. Hopefully, we're coming to a bit of a point here where stuff might start to get back to normal. I don't know.
I hope not too prematurely. I'll be honest. I'm a little gun shy about reality at this point still. So even if it's allowed that we can commingle, I might still be a little bit of a fucking hermit.
Yeah. No, I think it's probably best to take it slow. I think is kind of where everybody's at. But hey,
as we all know, safety first, motherfucker. The first tenant. Right.
Safety first, motherfuckers. Real quick, I wanted to address a news item that came out. The Pentagon has released a statement verifying the videos from the recent disclosure from the TTSA, other UAPs. So that is something that we will be discussing at some point. But, there's not really a lot there. It's just the government being like, yo, this shit's real. Oh, by the way, we did it during the pandemic. Hey.
Yeah.
So
look the other way. Cough.
Yeah.
Nothing
exactly.
to see here. So, cough.
I know that was news that broke last week and whatnot, but we will be talking about that at some point. So stay tuned for that. To get started here, hellerspace.com. Grab yourself some merch. We recently launched another Black Sabbath homage.
We do love that. We love the Sabbath, and we love Heller Space.
You can get yourself a Masters of Reality rip with Heller Space. So.
I do love the colors. I'll be honest. I'm not trying to tout our own shit, but that is actually something I would totally fucking wear.
And Chris's correction is right. It is Master of Reality. I said Masters of Reality. I was mashing it up with Masters of the Universe. So Master of Reality. So yeah, check that out. Hellerspace.com. We're going to keep doing them Sabbath homages probably till Sharon Osbourne sues us. So, whatever.
Oh, touch wood.
And also, too, we have the two designs. We have the Plan 9 from Heller Space, and we also have the Heller Space Alive, the Kiss rip, which I'm surprised hasn't been taken down by Gene Simmons, but whatever. Or not him personally, but, his legal team.
Yeah, right. Get him while we're under the radar and help out a good cause in the process, because all of the profits going to help our local Meals on Wheels, and it helps feed a lot of good folks that would otherwise be pretty hungry. So,
yeah, totally.
It's kind of dope that you're willing to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you all so very much to everyone that contributed to that. We should have some final numbers probably in the next month or so. So thank you all so very much. patreon.com. $1 is a shout out, $5 is a shout out, and some bonus audio. We're going to be doing some new Patreon content coming up here for the month. So jump on. Thank you to everybody.
We got pretty heavy into it last month. We did a lot, and I think the backlog now is significant enough that it's worth the $5 drop, because you're going to get basically a whole other run of shows.
Yeah, we're up to 30 something. So yeah.
Oh, that's nuts. It's even higher than I thought it was.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you to everyone that supports us over there. Super appreciated. And you know what? I want to give a big thank you to all of our listeners just in general, because without you guys, we do not have a show. So thank you all so very much.
Yeah, you guys are the fucking best. We said it before. We'll say it again. You're literally the best, most interactive, coolest motherfuckers I have ever had the pleasure of at least knowing sort of virtually. I don't know how else to put it, but what little we do know of you is just the fucking kitty's titties. Thank you so much. You're the bestest of the best. You're the dot. Fill in your favorite adjective.
Yeah.
Before we get started, we got some Patreon shout-outs. I'm going to get started with Sawyer Thompson. Thank you so very much, good sir.
Oh, whitewash that fence, buddy. Let's go on with Josiah Cathay. I think I'm saying it right. Cathay. Thank you, Josiah.
Thank you, Josiah.
Yeah, next we have Tiffany
Ostergaard.
She has a last name, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm supposed to read that.
Oh, you don't see it in the chat where it says Tiffany Ostergaard?
There's nothing in my chat.
I'm sorry, Tiffany. You know what? We're just going to leave this in as a Mark fuck up here.
Yeah, no, I did that on purpose because Mark didn't send me anything, so I'm supposed to just know this person, I guess.
It's amazing that you remembered the first name. I'm totally impressed with that alone.
You don't see the chat down below?
There's nothing.
There's
nothing.
All right. Well, yeah, but because I put it in there and Chris joined after, son of a bitch.
I know it's an obscure political thriller from the 80s, and hardly anyone will probably know this, least of all probably Tiffany, but it reminds me of the Osterman Weekend. As soon as I read that name, I'm like, the Ostergaard Weekend starring Rutger Hauer. In this
Nice.
early 80s ex-Nazi thriller. I don't even remember what it was about. I just know I saw it on HBO when I was a kid, and it fucking impressed me. So yes, we're going to have an Ostergaard Weekend courtesy of Tiffany.
Dope.
Thank you.
And I'm going to
you so-
practice my powers of knowing things without seeing them.
Wow, good luck with that.
Jesus.
From now on, Chris is going to remote view all of the Patreon names.
I'm just going
It's
to
gonna be a
I'm just
thing.
going to guess your name.
Teddy. Is this what we're going to do, really?
I feel I'm seeing an R. Is there an R?
Oh my God, you're right, dude. The last name starts with an R. Keep going. You're hot.
See?
Yeah,
See?
really. Jesus.
Is there a male presence?
Yes.
Yes.
See?
Oh my God, I'm a believer.
You should be, because it's real.
That brings us to our next and last Patreon shout out, Ryan Holbrook. I believe Chris just remotely viewed your name. So-
Yes, I did.
Gender and first initial, so that's something.
That's right.
Yeah, we got it.
Thank you, Mr. Holbrook.
Thank y'all so very much. All right, so now moving on with the show.
Anything else I'm supposed to know before? All right.
No, don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. All right. Wow. Contentious, Christopher.
Well, that's what he does.
My God.
That's part of
Yeah,
his charm.
I contend.
He contends. All right. All right. So this week we are going back to something that we enjoy so very, very much. We are talking about the alien octopoids.
That's true. We haven't done an octopus-themed cryptid/entity maybe since the Indescribable Octoman. I know
That's true.
Octosquatch was one of the early ones, but yeah, no, it's like an old friend. Anything that's octopus related, it goes back to, of course, the Octoman, that like horrible movie they used to show on WOR Channel 9 from Secaucus, New Jersey. And if you're from like the Northeast of the United States, especially in the 80s, you'll probably remember that channel. Otherwise, it'll mean nothing to you. But they played the shittiest of the shitty, like all those Hemisphere Picture movies, all the things, by like... who's the guy? They made a book about him called Schlockerama. He was Al Adamson. He was murdered and put in his own hot tub and buried beneath it by his contractor.
Whoa.
But anyway, he did a lot of crazy movies, and they showed up on there. But Octoman was always one of my favorites. I knew it was bad even when I was a kid, but I fucking loved weird monsters, and so I think that's part of the reason I love fucking anything octopus related when it comes to cryptids.
All right, well, let's get started with, in the late 1960s, a Spanish farmer was thunderstruck when, in an attempt to be a good Samaritan and assist what he thought was a stranded motorist, he not only discovered a UFO hovering in the middle of one of his fields, but a pair of bizarre, scurrying, seemingly cephalopod-like critters, which were clearly not of this earth. Whoa, alien octopoids in your fields coming for you.
From
Hashtag
Jupiter.
not my Earth.
Hashtag my Earth. How about that? There you
Wow.
go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Wow.
There it is. All right,
Okay.
Robert.
Let's get kicking.
Do it.
And you know what? For a change, I'm not going to paint you a picture of this place. Fucking Google Spain if you want to know. All right?
Yeah,
I
get your
threw
own
this
picture.
together at the last second, and I didn't have time to fancy it up as much as I like to. So I'm getting defensive, but I'm really attacking myself when I'm saying these things. You'll just have to figure it out. I'm sure it's picturesque. Spain seems beautiful this and every other time of year.
Okay, cool.
That having been said, at approximately 6 a.m. on August 16th, 1968, a Spanish farmer by the name of John Matau awoke to begin his chores for the day. As the farmer stepped outside to survey his property, which was nestled approximately 4 miles away from Tavisa in the province of Tarragona, he had no way of knowing that his ordinary Friday morning was about to transform into a Lovecraftian nightmare.
Oh, my favorite type of nightmare. Tentacles and old ones. Yeah.
I'll grant you this is a smidge hyperbolic. The tentacles are valid. Possibly old gods are involved in some way, but it's difficult to know. But it was disturbing to him, so we'll just go with it.
Right.
John was preparing to feed his cattle when his eye was caught by a strange luminous object, which he believed to be a reflection from a car just over half a mile away. The farmer, with a noble streak not seen enough in this world, shouted to his wife that he thought a car had broken down and he was going to see if he could be of assistance. With his faithful dog in tow, John made his way toward the semi-illuminated object, growing more perplexed with every step. Finally, John realized that he was not looking at a motor vehicle at all, but a self-illuminated ovoid structure that resembled, in his own words, a half watermelon. So I think we can all pretty much imagine this. Just half an oval. To make matters even more bizarre, this hemispherical object was hovering nearly 4 feet off of the ground. It was at this moment that things went from weird to positively hallucinogenic for the poor farmer. While puzzling over the radiant dome-shaped UFO suspended over his property, John noticed something else moving swiftly on the far side of the floating object. The farmer later described the two quote-unquote things which he claimed were running toward the UFO. John testified that the pair of what one can only surmise may have been extraterrestrials were just over 3 feet in height and approximately 330 feet away from the object. Oddly specific, but I'm going to give it to him. Maybe that's one of John's skills. This gave John an excellent look at these bizarre yet swift octopoidal entities, which were said to resemble swiftly moving pink cactus plants with multiple legs that were, like everything else around them, illuminated by the UFO.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's a serious what the fuck.
Fast movers, yeah.
Like it's got the speedy legs. I assume maybe bristly. I don't know about hair. It's basically maybe just an oblong shape of a body head, which could resemble either, I guess, an extended octopus or a bulbous cactus. I mean, we can only go by what was reported, so I'm kind of struggling.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump the gun here with theories, but are we talking about the squidbillies? Is that what this is?
Oh my God,
man.
that really is uncannily true to form.
The fucking squidbillies.
I can't believe I didn't think about that.
Yeah, nailed it. See you next week.
Got it.
Done. Adult Swim, always the answer. The startled farmer concluded that these bizarre beasts were extremely, quote-unquote, disgusting, which is a sentiment that these ostensibly frightened beings might well have shared in reverse. It's worth noting that John was not sure if the blur of sprinting tentacle-like appendages represented 4 or 5 legs. While quadrupeds are common on Earth and perhaps other planets, animals lacking bilateral symmetry are decidedly not. So if these speedy varmints really did have 5 legs, then it's almost a certainty they were not from here. Within moments, the two cephalopod creatures had piled into their potentially interstellar or perhaps interdimensional vehicle and shot off into the sky, leaving the mystified John and his dog alone in the field. It was at this point that the farmer, understandably overwhelmed by the spectacle, fainted.
That's
I'm
what
cool
you
with
do,
that.
man.
Yeah,
That's what you do.
That kind of sucks, though.
Yeah.
It does suck. I mean, it sucks for him, but then again, it also could have been some effect of the energy coming from the craft. It could have been one of those strange powers that extraterrestrials tend to manifest in order to paralyze or knock out potential abductees. So maybe it wasn't a dead-up faint just because of the shock of it. Maybe it was something more. We don't know.
All right.
According to the farmer's brother Sebastian, an accountant from the nearby village of Darmos, John remained missing for nearly a day. One must suppose that John's wife had assumed that after he had helped with the stalled car, her husband had returned to his regular duties, which would explain why her curiosity was not aroused by his absence. Either way, John seemed unharmed when he was found hours later.
Oh, man, so he fainted and disappeared?
And it was just gone all day.
Okay,
Apparently.
wow. All right. Not
That
good.
having been said, there is the possibility that at least a portion of John's missing time may have been spent aboard the potentially extraterrestrial craft. Perhaps he had more contact with these tentacled terrors than he had remembered. This, of course, is pure speculation. I just throw it out there because anytime it's not like John Matthau claimed to have missing time, though he might have. I can't say that for a fact. But the fact that he was missing only indicates that no one had seen him and that he had, perhaps just been unconscious in the field. But very often it seems like under either hypnosis, dubious though that may be, or through other methods of recollection, like just a memory gets jarred loose years later, missing time very often has deeper implications for people that have a close encounter of the second kind, which I don't know. Was this a third kind technically? and possibly a fourth kind if it's an abduction. I guess because he didn't come in direct contact with the cactusy octopoids. But
right.
I think it technically is a third kind.
Right.
But whatever. That's out there. In the days that followed this event, John and his brother noticed a large circular area of burnt pasture below where the UFO had been hovering. The farmer also discovered 2 apparently older patches of charred grass that were approximately the same size as the first, perhaps indicating that the UFOs had landed in other places. So maybe it was the same 2 doing multiple landing sites, maybe doing the fucking typical soil sample thing. Either way, that definitely represents close encounter of the second kind. While scientific tests were apparently not performed at the quote-unquote landing sites, there is circumstantial evidence of higher than normal electromagnetic fields near the landing areas. On 3 separate occasions, John and his brother noticed that their watches had stopped dead while they were wandering around in close proximity to the semicircular scorch marks. So that's at least intriguing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's too bad that, they didn't have a MUFON-type organization or QFOS or any number of the ones that were working in America at the time, be it like the Lorenzens or Dr. Hynek's, but you take what you get. Intriguingly, the incident was not only witnessed by John and his canine companion, but was also evidently observed by an Austrian couple who had set up camp near the area. The man, identified as Hans Volkert, allegedly snapped and published photos of the singe marks, and he and his wife claimed to have actually seen the creatures in the incident. Unfortunately, there seems to be no trace of these witnesses. After the fact, they just sort of dried up.
Oh, man.
Perhaps these images are yellowing in some family album waiting to be revealed by some inquisitive relative at some point in the future. Maybe it's a load of bull. Who the fuck knows?
Really? Oh, here's little Billy. Here's the time we went to the park. Oh, here's the fucking alien nemesis. Never mind that, though. Moving on. Remember Aunt Jane's wedding?
You're right. I mean, that's fucking. It's funny. Like, why would you not want to help this motherfucker out? Like, if you saw it, I mean, if it's only a guy and his dog, and you saw it, why didn't you snap photos of the actual fucking event?
Exactly.
That's strike 1 against the Volkerts, and strike 2 is so you could have just burnt a patch in your backyard and said, yeah, no, I was in Tavissa, and we saw it and it was incredible. And, pay me $30 for this fucking Polaroid. I don't know how it worked, but unfortunately they sort of faded into the woodwork. On October 27th, 1968, the Barcelona Tele-Express published the first account of this captivating case in the form of a letter to the editor, which was scribed by Sebastian. In his letter, Sebastian detailed his brother's encounter with the UFO and the alien octopoids. This information was also enclosed in the esteemed Flying Saucer Review Special Issue Number 4. That's the source I came across it. The Flying Saucer Review is this great British periodical. It's where we got Sam, the Sandown Ghost Clown, and a lot of other stories that we've done and will do, because they were like just one of the great collectors of, especially, I mean, UFO sightings in general, but especially close encounters of the third kind, which made them an invaluable resource. So that's how it got circulated into UFO communities. Following the newspaper account, the region of Tavissa was besieged by ufologists, flying saucer buffs, and journalists hungry for a story. The letter that Sebastian had sent did not include a return address, making it challenging for reporters and curiosity seekers to track John down. This is when the Barcelona-based CSI, Center for Interplanetary Studies, got involved with the investigation. What? The CSI requested the original letter from the Tele-Express and followed the clues in the note, which stated that the encounter had occurred near Tavessa and that Sebastian hailed from the village of Darmos near Tarragona. When the information proved insufficient, the Tele-Express published a notice on September 13th, 1968, requesting that Sebastian contact the CSI directly. Nearly 2 weeks later, on September 25th, Sebastian, now apparently overwhelmed by the publicity his brother's run-in with the octopoids was garnering, as well as fearing for his job and reputation as, a barrister, responded to the notice with prudence and refused to offer any additional information about himself, his brother, or the close encounter. He exchanged some more letters with CSI officers, but no more pertinent details were revealed.
Oh, wow.
So
He got put on blast.
It's easy to accept one way or another. On one hand, skeptics could be right in saying, like, well, fuck. Once the heat came down, what seemed to be a lark was getting out of control, and he's like, fuck all that noise. And, what true believers could say just with as much veracity, he is a lawyer. He's got, a family to feed ostensibly, and he's worried about his brother's, reputation and his own reputation. So maybe it's just like putting the brakes on it. Like, maybe I shouldn't have fucking taken this public. Honestly, it can go 50-50 without, having more information. It's really difficult, to ascertain the veracity of what's going on. But I wouldn't say that this is either qualifying or debunking,
Right. Yeah, no,
totally.
Definitely not.
All right, now here's where shit starts getting even a little fucking flakier. At this point, things took a decidedly stranger turn when noted paranormal investigator and author of 1979's Dictionary of Parapsychology, which has to be a fucking tome worth owning.
Yeah.
Julio Roca I'm going to try this right. Montanola, I think it is, entered the fray. He believed that the Tavisa region was a nexus of mystical forces that attracted not only extraterrestrial, but even spiritual beings. He went so far as to state that he had discovered, I shit you not, a magical cave wherein he was able to travel into other universes.
Oh, you mean science?
Okay.
Is that what you mean?
I'm talking about science.
well.
Yeah, hard science. This is where things stop being so like foofy and weird and become concrete, fact-based science.
Yeah, I might have told Julio to shut the fuck up at this point.
You might have. You absolutely might have. But I mean, he's got the special passport to other. He's found the vortex.
Yeah,
the ultimate cave of vortex.
Yeah, the Star Cave.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? And you know what? When you walk into that cave, you know how some people have like live, laugh, love, and eat, pray, whatever. It says lift the veil. And then there it is.
In
the
Latin,
veil is
of course.
lifted. Yeah, at whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at is the, but I don't really give a fuck. So yeah. All right. Well, hey man, the veil's been lifted.
Oh
There it
no,
is.
clearly. I mean, now we know. Go to Tavisa or Tavisa and enjoy your vacation to anywhere in the known universes.
Yeah, dude. It's fucking there you go. Grand Central Station. There it is.
Julio, and this is where things get a little tragic. Julio would later claim the area where the UFO had hovered was so magnetized that it would contribute to the crash of a Piper Cub airplane that had inadvertently flown over the area. The wreckage was allegedly found near the town of Genesta. While there is no indication of how long these magnetic effects persisted, one can only imagine that local pilots must have been very wary when soaring over the sparse terrain of the Tavisa region. So a plane crashed. Who knows? Maybe Julio's just trying to, mash two things together, conflate two things that have nothing to do with each other. Or maybe there was some shit going on.
He apparently had evidence that was that strong that it caused the plane to crash.
Well, this guy's finding magic caves, so let's not get too heavy with the word evidence.
Well, let's not take
This can't be contained.
For some reason in my head, I just picture like a plane going over, and it's not like it sputters or like
it shoots right down like it's totally magnetic. Boom!
Like
God,
fucking
that's
Magneto.
tragic.
Like Magneto just goes fucking grabs it.
Yeah,
out.
Could you imagine if it just dropped like a matchbox on a solid
dude.
if you had like an electromagnet on the floor and you tried to like huck a matchbox over it and it just went bam.
Dude,
yeah.
I just imagine how scary that's got to be. Like if the engine just cuts and you're in a plane, you're like,
Yeah, no, that sucks.
You're just fucking free falling. Like that's crazy.
I don't think that's how it happened, because if it was a direct smackdown magnetic thing, I imagine it fucked with the instruments, maybe played hell with the engine. I'm not sure.
Sort of like what happens allegedly
in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
Absolutely, just like that.
All right.
And who knows?
Right, well,
I mean, I'm not trying to throw Julio under the bus. There might be magic caves everywhere, and he just found an awesome one in picturesque Spain, which I could not describe at all.
If you believe, then you might find one. You never know. It's up to you to believe.
At this point, a journalist named Alex Boots, not a made-up name at all.
Okay.
Really, Chris? Nothing, Chris. Nothing?
Boots. Boots the
Mandy
dog.
Sandals came to the scene. Alex Boots claimed to have not only found, but to have interviewed the enigmatic John Matthau at a local tavern. Even after this report, the situation in Tavissa had become so off the wall that some investigators simply decided to wash their hands of the entire affair and label it a hoax, despite the evidence and appearance of similar creatures in the region, of which there were at least two. So even ufologists at this point, probably as a result of Montanola, I don't know why I'm struggling with that name, Julio Montanola's claims of more magical aspects, they're a lot of ufologists really endeavor, and I admire this in them, to be more grounded and scientific. So they're trying to separate themselves from the weirdness, but we can't deny that Spain saw some other shit, and one we know about and one we've never discussed. So
yeah,
it would seem as if 1960 Spain was a hotbed for anomalous octopus-like land cryptids. First off, we have the octosquatch, which we know well, of course, which came on the scene in 1961 in the northern Spanish province of Vizcaya. We know all about that. We know all about their terrible fear of jackhammers and douchey truck drivers that like to torment it until they leave it alone. Yeah. Then there is the quote-unquote lost case of the unnamed woman from Barcelona who reported stumbling upon another cactus-like quote-unquote creature with 4 limbs on December 3rd, 1967. This incident was reported by Antonio Ribera. The anonymous eyewitness claimed that the creature's appendages left deep grooves in the ground as it moved, but when later questioned, she refused to elaborate on her testimony. So I've seen a drawing of this, and it looks sort of like the drawing of the octopoids. There is a drawing out there of the octopoids, and there's the one I did that accompanies the article on cryptopia.us, which I'm sure will be on this or whatever. But the drawing of the cactus-like creature looks like it could be a very similar creature, except it's more narrow, it's taller, and it doesn't, if I recall correctly, have a face. But the octopoids had 2 eyes and a mouth. I know that didn't specifically describe that earlier because it wasn't specifically described that way, but that's what the drawing showed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So, these cactusy octopoids with 4 or 5 legs, frowny faces and tiny little eyes. And apparently on December 3rd, 1967, a woman in Barcelona. So I don't know what the deal is with this. But, all right. Noted historian. Oh, here's the guy who actually did some of these illustrations. I'm glad I remember to include this because this is important to credit this guy because he did a lot of interesting research. Noted historian and naturalist Terry Hooper Scharf illustrated the intriguing cactus critter and speculated about its possible relationship with the alien octopoid, stating, "I have to wonder whether the description of the woman from Barcelona would be anything like the one given by Matthau. If the descriptions did match, then this would really be something to look at." And I agree. I mean, of course, you can only speculate, but, good on Hooper Scharf for taking the time to investigate these really obscure cases and doing these illustrations. And we agree it would. But either way, it seems remarkable to consider just how many bulbous-headed, tentacle-bearing, and occasionally hairy octopus-like entities were roaming around the Spanish countryside during the 1960s. This may well be the first, and as far as we know, only Terra octopoda flap on record in the combined histories of both cryptozoology and ufology, and certainly, or almost certainly at least, represents one of the weirdest cryptid windows on the books. So Terra octopoda is just a phrase I casually threw out there years ago for land octopus.
Yeah.
Because there are literally like sightings of normal octopus that live on lands. There's the one that we discussed on our Patreon interview with Nicholas Cox about those freestanding octopus-like creatures that were on land eating the carcasses of the Japanese soldiers in Okinawa. There are, story after story, not tons of them, but just enough to be interesting, of land octopuses. And perhaps these allegedly alien octopoids or octosquatch, maybe even the indescribable, though wholly describable Octoman, represent other forms of this. I don't know. But I really find it interesting that in Spain in the 60s, you got the four-limbed cactus, you got the octopoids, and you have octosquatch, all basically within a few years span, really.
So we're dealing with a flap of Landopus? Is that what we're doing?
A Landopus flap. I mean, 68, 67, right, and, 61 was octosquatch.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess we had to start with the fucking elephant in the room or the fucking magic cave in my heart, the magic cave.
The magic cave.
I mean, this guy apparently discovered, it sounds to me like a classic description of some sort of like vortex type situation where you're talking about ley lines and shit like that. So maybe, just maybe, hear me out here before you poo-poo me,
Christopher.
Maybe.
Not gonna do it.
Maybe this magic cave does serve as some sort of weird vortex to another, some sort of other dimension. Now, the magic cave theory sounds awesome. We don't really have a lot to go on with, other than the dude look, found a magic cave, shit's weird. There you go.
Yeah.
I have visited other dimensions. Don't forget that. He claims to have actually traversed the dimensional or universe, as I think he might have said, barrier.
You kind of have to elaborate on that, though. I mean, I think for Chris's sake.
Listen.
Oh, for all our sakes.
Hold on. Here comes Chris.
It's more than that. Like, if you're going to make the claim to begin with, then why don't you have the map to the place? I mean, you should have all the evidence to prove that this is a thing if you're going to claim it to begin with. If you're going to throw it out there, then you should have this documented, the path to the cave and all that.
Oh yeah, you should have rope lines leading you, this is to the world where chairs talk, and this is the world where fucking books sing, and this is the world where fucking birds live in the water, and you just have maps and fucking and tour guides. I want the full fucking Disney World treatment.
At least the directions to the cave, I would accept.
Fair enough.
I don't even expect you to have explored all the universes in there yet. Just have the directions there would be great. Thank you, Jose.
I can see why you wouldn't do it. Why Julio might not have done it, but I'm going to debunk that as soon as I say it. He might want to have kept this place secret because it is a potentially dangerous nexus, assuming it's real. Now, I know we can't assume that, and I don't think any of us, even Mark, for all his enthusiasm, are just naturally saying, yes, this is fucking 100% what's going on. But if it is real, you have to be very careful because not only is it something where people could get into a lot of trouble, but you could have a serious cross-contamination, not only into our world, but elements of ours. I mean, anything's an invasive species at this point, no matter which way it goes. And I can see where you would want to be cautious, but the fact that he mentions it at fucking all, much less in an apparently public forum,
that's the problem for me.
Yes, means that he's not really worried about people visiting it.
Right.
Now, maybe he didn't specifically say where it is, and I don't know if the Tavisa region is littered with caves, and this might be a small fissure in the ground that you have to kind of crawl down, and you drop down 13 feet, and one person go at a time, or if it's a big mammoth fucking monstrosity, like the ones in Thailand or various places around the world, or the mammoth cave system itself, which is said to be littered with paranormal and goblin-like things.
But again, if your whole point is you discovered something, you're like, no, I got to keep this secret. You are not going to be that person in an interview going, oh, no, I saw it. I just can't tell you. Don't worry, though. I know it's there, but I can't tell you.
Yeah, there's unfortunately a lot of that in
You're right. That's
dealing with stuff like this. There's a lot of that. Oh yeah, I got the alien alloys, but I can't fucking tell you about it.
Yeah, not looking at you to the Stars Academy. Not looking at you at all.
Yeah, not at all.
We're going to reveal the truth in a series of fictionalized articles that will, be serialized like fucking Flash Gordon movies from the mid-40s. Thanks. Thank you.
It's gonna be like a cross platform media extravaganza involving interpretive dance and fucking
I'm
this
in.
random shit. Chris is in for that.
Totally.
So the thing too, I guess, with this cave is that, all right, if this guy did happen to find this cave and he did in fact travel time and space or whatever, so he's keeping his secret because he wants to protect mankind from the horrors from beyond the stars.
That's where it gets Lovecraftian.
Can we say, though, that I mean, I guess we don't have a description of the cave, but is the UFO coming from the cave? Or
that's the thing. Is it a huge
I would
cave
think it would have to.
wherein a UFO can travel through, or
Right.
are UFOs sort of like reverse TARDISes, not bound by the laws of traditional Newtonian physics that Earth is enslaved to, at least in everything but the quantum level, and that they can start off small or like a little ball of light and transform into a solid, watermelon-like metallic structure.
Maybe
that's weird too, though.
Maybe the UFO really wasn't. I mean, how big these creatures were? They weren't very big. So maybe
3 feet tall.
UFO. Yeah, maybe the UFO was the size of like a fucking snowmobile. Something small, something like a little tiny craft.
Yeah, I don't think he. I mean, he was. It's funny. He was super accurate in how far away these fucking things were from the
330
object.
feet.
100% nailed it. But but all we get in terms of the thing, it was metallic. It had reflections as if it were a car. It seemed to be self-illuminated, and it was an ovoid structure that looked like half a watermelon. And it's 4 feet off the ground, but we don't necessarily get the size. Is it 10? Is it 30?
Yeah,
is it 426 feet? I don't think it's that big.
Yeah.
But there's another thing that's often seen in UFO cases that doesn't get touched on a lot, which is they seem to be pretty fucking cramped. Like a lot of times, like remember the fanged humanoids of Kofu? Like granted, these things were small, wrinkle-headed, armed, toothy fucks, but it seemed like there was a couple of them at least in a really small object.
Oh yeah.
They remind me of Leela's pet from fucking Futurama. Remember that fucking guy? Oh, I remember with the little eyeball on top of his head, Nibbler, and Nibbler, he had a tiny little UFO that was suited to him. A lot of these things seem to have really small UFOs, but then, sort of also like in the Pascagoula case and others that are better documented, it seems to be about 30 feet on the outside, but once you get in, it's room after room after room, and it's as if they're opening up like folding dimensions within a confined geographical location, something that we could only speculate at in science fiction and really have no handle on. So I'm not sure size matters in this case, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No. But I mean, it is kind of weird though that these cephalopod fucking forms or these creatures are being fucking spotted all over Spain at this point. So, I mean, obviously with this one, there was a UFO involved with the Octosquatch. There was not a UFO involved. It was just some poor hairy octopus that was scared being attacked by a jackhammer.
Right. And in the Barcelona case of 67, it's just a cactusy thing at this point, just a different comparison. Right. And it left deep grooves in the ground where it walked or crawled or whatever you'd call it. But again, no UFO was associated with that either.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, maybe there is like a logical explanation as far as maybe people are misidentifying something. I mean, landopus do occasionally go on land. So,
yeah.
I mean,
yes.
It's in their biological name.
Yes, octopus
Terra
can crawl on land for extended periods of time. They're notoriously good at escaping whatever confines they have that have the marine environment that they can survive in, to crawl to another tank to eat a fish or to do whatever the fuck they want for an extended period of time. That is not unheard of. But true to life land forms of octopus obviously don't exist that we know of. And that makes this odd. And maybe they're not really like octopus at all. Maybe that's the best comparison we can come up with because we don't have anything else that's biologically akin to that on Earth. But wherever these things come from, be it, again, another dimension, another planet, or a portal in a magical cave, they just happen to be built vaguely like what we think octopus are built like, but they might have bones. They might have a whole inner structure that allows them to function on land just fucking fine. There's just no way of knowing.
Yeah. Well, no, there's not.
But I'm pretty sure they're not octopus. Like, I don't think they're coming out of the ocean and that, like, I don't think it's like the next evolutionary step of the squid, to be like, fuck it. Here I am.
Yeah, no, probably not. I mean, I'm going to assume that we can just kind of go off the bat with alien here and just kind of be like, all right, so these are some weird squid-like alien entities that are entities that are just fucking popping in for, whatever reason. It is interesting that you do have similar descriptions of these. That is
weird. I'll even admit that.
That's strange, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by it. Granted, it's only 4 specimens on 3 occasions, but still, it is striking. But here's the other question: are these things? And I'm talking specifically about tonight's case, the Tebessa John Matthau case. Are these things the pilots, or are they like, as people so often suggest, pets out for a walk?
Right.
Are these just like, they're put down so these things can take a shit, run around a little bit, stretch their legs, then back in the car for the long ride home? Kids are pissing and moaning. Everyone wants to go to Shoney's. Fucking whatever.
Yeah, everyone wants to go to Wawa and they fucking can't. I mean, that's always a possibility. They're the whole alien pet, or that we are the local dumping ground. We're the SPCA for fucking wayward alien animals. There isn't really a lot to go there. You just have this fucking super bizarre, but has been talked about before, shape and form of a creature. These these pteropoids or whatever. So
I love it. We're coming up with new words every time. Pteropoids, landipus. Landipus is my favorite.
Landipus is my favorite too. I do like.
Pteropoid would just mean landpoid. But I like it.
Whatever, fuck it. Yeah,
like
whatever.
Pteropoid would 100% have been a fucking a movie that Roger Corman would have fucking produced in the late 90s.
Right.
100%.
So magical caves aside, I guess these people are just happen to be a weird fap aliens that were in the area that for some reason just all
of aliens? A masturbatory fucking
I really
run of octopus aliens.
I really just said that. There was a meme posted in our Facebook group about like the Mothman fap.
Oh my god.
And I laughed my balls off at it. It was hilarious. It was so good. A octopoid flap of aliens in Spain. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe, I'm lost, dude. I'm still kind of going to the magical cave. Sorry, guys. I'm just there.
No, magical caves are fun. But
it makes it happen.
There's 2 things. The fact that it all happens within the geographic confines of Spain makes it interesting, I'll grant you. But there's no real association between these 3 events at all. Except sort of the description of the Barcelona one and the Tebessa one. But taken alone and removing the Julio's Magic Cave for a minute, even though I would totally stop there if it was a tourist trap anywhere, this really does seem like a straightforward extraterrestrial case wherein just something lands, a random dude who sees it, sort of like the space penguins of Tuscumbia or any number of farmers that or the dude that got the pancakes from those sweet fucking aliens that wanted a pitcher of water and he got shitbag flapjacks. Which we love. A lot of farmers, maybe just because of their geographic isolation, are privy to this stuff, and then they see something bizarre. And this seems like this might be isolating this case in and of itself, just one of those things. And it happens to be a form of ostensibly extraterrestrial that just isn't all that common. And that does sort of look like either a mobile pink cactus or, because of its coloration and the fact that it's got tentacle-like appendages, even though if it has 5, that makes it very much like stumps in that it lacks bilateral symmetry and that's also just fucked up biologically. But I think what we're probably dealing with here is...
drugs.
Yeah, drugs. I think that I was trying to get to it, but yeah. No, magic mushrooms are clearly what's growing in this cave. And I think it's pretty much a straightforward ET encounter.
All right. Well,
enhanced by drugs, to be sure, but
I mean, I really keep going back to this cave. I know it's drawing me in. It shouldn't. It's like I'm Luke going into the cave. This
is pretty par for you. A magical cave of portals. That is you.
I know. Unfortunately, I am extremely sober at the moment, so I really would love to go off the handle on this and start getting into it and like blaming shit and making accusations. I know, but I can't because I'm trying. But I just
but why are you extremely sober?
And why would you blame?
Cause man, you fucking that's how the shit. You can't even get me started because I'm sober. It's not gonna work.
Man,
it's just not gonna
I
work.
cannot believe you're doing a pod not drunk and high.
Yeah, no, I know.
You're disappointing everyone. Not
Yeah,
the
this is
least of
fucking
which
fucked
two
up.
of your dear friends. Why would you do this to us?
You know, I mean, I'm just trying to curtail things. I'm just trying to kind of bring it back down a little bit. You know, I don't know. I don't want to turn myself into a magical cave, not be able to get out of it.
Wow.
What do I
No,
do?
that's what we want you to. We want you to say that.
What if
that
I
you
am
are the cave.
What happens? I am the cave. come into my cave, boys, and see the fucking magical universes.
Oh, touch my belly button and transport yourself to a new place and a new way of thinking.
If I don't sigh at least 5 times from something you say, then I'm not having fun.
I agree.
It's not an episode.
I'm certainly not enjoying myself.
I don't think
as
I've
much.
sighed
Disappoint
once.
Chris, please.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm trying to disappoint him. I just don't know if I have it in me at the moment to
All right,
disappoint
we're all
him. I do
allowed
enjoy the
an
cave,
off
though.
day.
I do enjoy the cave. I think the cave is fun. I think the cave is cool. I think maybe there's something there. I just think this dude has to be a little bit more, he has to elaborate a little bit more on this cave. Because if you're traveling universes, you ought to have some sort of fucking proof. Bring a friend. Bring your girlfriend. Bring your wife. Bring whoever. Like, hey, you want to go for a trip? Here we go. Zoom, cross the stars.
Yeah,
you're
something.
in fucking mushroom world. Or, you know, you're hanging out with
Mushroom
whatever.
world?
Julio,
why not?
mushrooms is as good as any, but he literally wrote the fucking dictionary of parapsychology. Who's to say he didn't write a book about this? Like, as far as I know, I didn't, look into Julio's biography just a little, but I didn't dig deep. I didn't like put the Alex boots on, if you will, and fucking go deep into Julio's world. But he might have written more extensively about the Magic Cave and its multiple passages, but I'm not familiar with it. I would like follow-ups. I'll tell you what, I'm going to
do a follow-up on it.
I am going to look into it. I did look into it. I mean, when I first wrote this article, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I don't even remember when I wrote it. And I didn't, full disclosure, I did not update it. At the last second, the shit we were going to do, Mark can attest to, was not finished. So I just grabbed an old article off of Cryptopia and polished it up real quick. Like literally while Mark and I were on mic waiting for Chris to get his shit done and come on. And then I just sent it out. So I have not boned up. So maybe there is a lot of new information on the magical cave situation in fucking Spain. And if there is, we will definitely do a fucking follow-up. Right now, I'm basking in ignorance.
All right, that's fine. Well, hey, you know what? That is part of the fucking joy of this show is that we bask in ignorance.
Oh, it's facts.
That's just kind of what we do. All right, so Rob's saying alien. I'm saying Magic Cave. Christopher, what do you got? I mean, Magic Cave. Prove me wrong. That's all I got.
That's just not a valid argument. I hate when people say that.
Have I ever had a valid argument for you?
Yeah,
ever?
I know.
Exactly. I haven't. I'm here to disappoint you. I hope I've
Okay, well,
succeeded.
you got, like, that's a 2-sigh statement. So.
Oh. All right, cool. I see. It fucking works.
You get 2 sighs for that one.
I'd like to think the octopoids are the guardians of the cave. Like, not just passers through.
No, that could be.
You need, like, security team. You got to make sure shit's tight. They're
Are
doing
you
their
bringing
routine
in,
patrol. Maybe the UFO broke down. They had to run out, get apart. Who the fuck knows? Scoot it back real quick, and they're fucking keeping an eye on it. And fucking while they're out fucking around, Julio sneaks in. He's like, I found the Magic Cave. They're like, shit. 10 minutes, we're gone.
Oh,
you literally
all
are writing Landipus fan fiction? Is that what you're doing? Seriously?
Dude, someone's gotta.
It's like a weird escape room. You have to do a series of events to get to the Magic Cave.
Yeah. It could be.
Oh, there's gotta be. There's gotta be. I mean, there's always a dragon or a Cerebus or some shit. There's always something you got to get through to earn the right to get the treasure or the portal or whatever the fuck you want. You got to get through the slee stack if you want to meet the fucking one smart one with reflective clothing with the fucking prism that can send you home.
Yeah.
There's always ordeals.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally. But like
Campbellian ordeals. And so who's to say? Maybe they're part of it. Maybe these fucking Terra Octopoda are part of the system in place to make you earn the right to portal.
I assume Julio claims he made it. So why would you not be like, oh yeah, I passed the test of 9, but I can't talk about it. And then you're like,
we don't know though that he never told that to anybody. All we know is he said there was a magical cave.
According to what we're talking about, that we don't know anything. That's exactly right. We just know what he told us.
Yeah, we can't go off of Rob's fan fiction, unfortunately. As cool as it sounds, we can't.
I'm on the fly. I'm going to Google his name, accompanied by Magic
Fan fiction?
Cave.
Maybe
And
a
just
better
see,
picture.
maybe we're gonna find some awesome shit that will help us out. My keyboard is far away right now, so I'm one.
You're gonna find out that he's been thoroughly debunked and he'd admit to lying about it the whole fucking time. And we're gonna
What
be like,
I
all
am
right.
going to find out is that the number one hits are articles I wrote. So that's not
Okay, well,
helping.
there you go.
Okay, but yeah, that too.
Translate this. Oh, magic, and all of these things have the words "Magic Cave" crossed out.
Yeah.
It is everything
So-
you want except Magic Cave. Oh, so it's going to
that
be a little deeper than one Google page, clearly.
Well, but I mean, because on the first Google page we are the de facto source, that makes us the de facto source. So I guess your fan fiction stands because you're
Yeah.
making history right
yeah,
now.
because we're the fucking experts, clearly.
Yeah, there you
So-
go.
I know. I don't know if I call
Alright.
that canon.
That
Well,
helps
thank
us
y'all
not
so-
at all.
No. Oh, thank y'all so very much for joining us for the Cryptonaut podcast. We are glad that you could be here with us while we make history and just, shit that probably is not actually connected to what that dude saw with the
Hey,
octopuses.
we
but
were
hey,
all here
whatever,
for the
fuck it.
octofappening, so
Yeah.
welcome.
Octofap. There you go. You get one, and that's the Octofap. Enjoy. Thank y'all so very much. Hellerspace.com. Get yourself some merch. We got the Hellerspace Plan 9 from Hellerspace and the Hellerspace Alive shirts. Those go directly to help our local Meals on Wheels program to get some people fed. So check that out. We
Good
also
stuff.
have the Master of Reality Black Sabbath homage, which is up there. So grab that thing as well. The old Hellerspace is a fan favorite there, so check that out. The socials, the Instas, the Twitters, and the Facebooks. Thank you all so very much for everyone contributing over there. Check our Facebook group out. It is fucking super fun.
Yeah, they're
thanks
awesome.
everyone-
Thank
thanks
you to everyone
everybody.
over there for keeping it fucking real and making it fucking legit. It is awesome.
Yeah, thanks to all of our listeners that are stepping in as mod admins and giving us a hand with that. We appreciate that greatly. So keep those DMs, keep all that stuff coming. Listener stories, send them to cryptonautpodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, that's becoming really fun. It's one of the things, I mean, we get together,
it's
we
pretty
try to get
cool.
together twice a week, one to do the Legitipod, which is this, and then the other one to throw out an extra one just, to give you guys something else to listen to. That is basically us doing takes on what you what you have experienced. So it's
Totally.
super fun for us, and I
it's
think it's
awesome.
entertaining, hopefully for you guys. So keep them up because we can do this just so long as we have source material.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
do it.
Keep sending
Do
them.
it.
Patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. Thank you to everybody supporting us over there. We appreciate it. And again, thank you to all of our listeners. We appreciate y'all so very much. Without you, we do not have a show. So thank you so much again from the very, very bottom of our hearts and our beer-filled stomachs and our weed-fucking destroyed brains. We appreciate it. We appreciate each
God,
and every
all right.
one of you. Everybody stay safe. Everybody stay healthy. I think that we're starting to have a positive turnout here with maybe things are going to start getting a little bit back to normal very slowly. Take it slow. Don't go fast. Don't be quick. Just, take your time. Wear your mask. Quarantine still. Fucking do what you got to do. And, there it is.
Absolutely.
The dope shit.
We'll be talking to you soon.
And for those that are interested, though I don't know why you would be, but I'm continuing to chronicle this. My cooler this week is a form of vegetable that I didn't even know I bought and I'm not familiar with, and that is the Prince Edward medley. The Prince Edward medley.
Prince Edward.
Prince Edward.
Should we try and guess what the fuck is in the
Even
medley?
I buy my own fucking vegetables, and I'm like, what
All
the
right.
fuck is this?
First of all, wait a minute. How many vegetables are in it?
There's 3 vegetables, and you know what? I think I must have been grabbing on moss because this is not something
Prince
I would have I wouldn't have grabbed
Edward.
this on my own for my mouth to enjoy. Do you guys want to know what is contained in the Prince Edward medley?
I'm going to guess red peppers,
All right, it's a good guess.
frozen red peppers, asparagus, and potatoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wild and off the board and absolutely not accurate. Fully
Okay,
not
Chris.
accurate.
I thought
But
we
good
were just
guess.
going
Chris,
to
what do you
try and
got?
guess. We don't have to guess all 3. We should just guess them and hope we get them right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's not like
All
no one's getting graded on this.
Okay, Prince Edward. Cauliflower.
Okay.
Is it right?
No.
Fuck.
Every test should be like this. The proctor, is it right? No.
God.
Fuck.
Corn.
So, okay, help me out real
There's
quick
no
here.
corn.
When you get,
Fuck a butt.
when you, see?
Broccoli?
When you...
No.
Okay, there's no more vegetables. This isn't a thing. You're lying.
No, there are more vegetables,
Carrots.
I assure you.
Carrots.
Yes.
Carrots.
Okay, that's one.
Zucchini?
Boom.
Is it got some
There's
zooks?
no zucchini.
Okay, so we got carrots.
you fucker. Asparagus?
Asparagus?
No.
Peas?
No.
No, okay.
No.
This is really
Two
Isn't it
variations
Prince
of the same vegetable. That's the clue. And then I'm going to reveal it after you guys.
Two
Look,
variations of
we're missing an obvious one probably, but is it?
You are.
Is it a bean?
Yes.
Ooh, shit, fuck.
Is this what we
Is it like a?
This is what
okay,
come to. It's guessing
a green
Uncle
bean?
Rob's ghetto cooler.
Like a green bean?
A green bean and a carrot. Those are two of the 3 points of
A yellow,
Prince
a
Edward's
yellow,
medley.
yellow or wax?
and a pea?
Indeed. Gotten.
Holy shit.
And I wouldn't
All right.
buy a wax bean. I mean, I guess I would to save a life. I said I wouldn't to save a life in my mind, but in reality, to save a life, I would. But to eat, I would not buy wax beans. I don't know how I ended up with the Prince Edward medley. I don't know how wax beans ended up in my
green
fucking freezer.
Prince Edward medley. You can go to hell and suck it.
Yeah. You can go fuck up. All you are is good for chilling my beer. Because I will use you for nothing. We probably won't even be able to play this game again because I think I found my permanent cooler.
I think the entire time we're talking about the Prince Edward mix of frozen vegetables. For some reason, I thought it was I kept thinking of like the dick piercing, the Prince Albert fucking bag of mixed
Oh
vegetables.
my god!
It took the entire conversation for me to realize, oh wait, it isn't a Prince Edward, it's a Prince Albert. Yeah,
You're
so,
always thinking about dicks and taints.
yeah. I mean, you know. I mean, hey, you got one. You have to worry about yours and other people's.
That's what keeps our sexual tension so poignant and strong.
That's right. We worry
That's what
about
keeps
each other's
us so riled
sacks.
up.
That was quite possibly one of the best reviews that we haven't done
fucking
reviews in a
loved
while,
it.
but that review was great because it was very matter of fact. Like, hey, these guys' sexual tension's palpable. Like,
Yeah,
oh
I
man, it's
loved it.
hilarious.
I thought I was being more
fucking-
subtle, but clearly not.
No, it's ob.
It was hilarious. Oh, God, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. Whoever sent that, thank you. Thank you so very much. I enjoyed that. Thank you all so very much, and we're talking to you soon.
Goodbye,
Goodbye.
friends.
Don't buy the Prince. Don't buy the Prince Albert medley.
Yeah, I do not buy that. Especially
Prince
not
Albert
that.
medley.
It's a foreskin and 2 chains.
It'll be on 4 skins. Yeah, exactly. Mixed with tuna fish and fucking cauliflower.
Oh, just a frozen bag of foreskins.
Could you imagine? But if you stir fry it, it might not be as bad as you think.
No, it's gonna be like
little
weird
soy
yogurt.
sauce.
Yeah, okay,
saves everything.
enjoy your crispy battered taints. I'm not.
Oh shit! We're all right. There it is. We nailed it. We'll be
God
talking to you.
damn.
All right.